Please leave a message after the
2 years ago, or 3 years ago, 2015. Do you remember that lady, Rachel Dolezal?
Oh yeah,
The transracial lady.
yeah. Dave Chappelle ripped into her,
she's
man.
just white.
Yeah.
NAACP.
Yeah. President. Or,
Standing. Transracial. Okay.
Transracial. That was
Is
it.
that the title she gave herself?
Transracial.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get into it. So this year, Netflix just released a documentary called "The Racial Divide."
No way.
And I was watching it, and they have a clip here that I'm going to play because it actually brings up a lot of things that I want to delve in. I want to delve in a little bit deeper, especially about the racial divide, because it relates to even gender fluidity. But I think this clip I'm about to play actually does a nice little clip show of what I'm talking about, and then I'm going to get you guys' thoughts on that. So just stay tuned.
Trans era.
Transgender, cisgender,
all this fluid stuff.
white privilege,
appropriation,
identity.
Now we're having a big national discussion about something called transracialism.
there is actually a different category of blackness about the achievement of blackness despite one's parentage. Is that possible?
She's taken on the ideas, the identities, the struggles.
She's given us an opportunity to open our minds in terms of how we think about blackness and what blackness really means.
You angry with her because she picked up what you're trying to throw away. You buying bleaching cream.
She makes it sound like you can pick your race.
She needs to shut up.
There you go.
To simply say I use the brown crayon, therefore I'm black, is kind of insulting.
Race in this country is constructed based on a complex and interwoven set of factors. It's not a hairstyle. It's not an affinity for a music.
You can't just appropriate persecution just because it's cool.
She didn't go through the struggle that we went through, and she don't know half of the things that we endured. So, no, she's not qualified.
Is it the same as Caitlyn Jenner?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not even close.
Okay, so Caitlyn Jenner's a woman, even though Caitlyn Jenner was unquestionably a man. But she went through a process.
Is white.
What makes somebody black? I've given you the penis on the man. You give me what makes a black person black.
Having dark black skin and being of African origin, adhering to a certain cultural style, all of those.
Okay, I want to stop. What Van is saying is exactly what some people are saying about Caitlyn Jenner. You just don't buy it there, but you buy it here. And that's the problem.
Can we just agree there's one race and it's the human race?
Watching our feelings and reactions to it, it tells me more about all of us and about our national anxiety around it.
It's the perfect modern mind bender.
The reason why I played that was from the Netflix Rachel Dolezal, I can't say her surname properly, documentary called The Racial Divide. And the thing I liked about that as well, they not only spoke about the race transitions, but they also at the end spoke about the gender one, especially with Kylie Jenner's dad.
Yeah, try to equivocate, yeah.
And this is the debate I do have with a lot of people, especially since transgenderism is very big now, very popular. That's why I don't really use the word popular. It's very important. It's a very important movement as well. I was brought up in a different time, so to speak, where even just being gay was seen as, odd and offbeat. And now people are changing their genders physically, going, spending tons of money, and they're fighting for their rights. Trans everything, I hate to make a joke out of this, but, some people saying they feel like they're a piece of machinery. They feel like they were born a car. They feel like they were born with a piece of leg. There was somebody that said they felt like they're really a ghost, trans everything. And, it's getting to a point where, we want to respect everything and let everyone be anything they want to be. But at the same time, again, it's when you say topical debates, it's like, what next is going to be the thing that people are going to be upset about that is topical? Like right now, the gender thing and the pay gap you mentioned is a big thing that can be argued. But once upon a time, it wasn't even worth talking about. It was just the law of the land. It is how it is, but now it's different. So for me now, I want to say that I'm very, very open-minded.
Oh, be careful.
No, I wouldn't say very open-minded, but I have felt like I've kept some of my homegrown biases to myself just because I was raised a certain way, and I think you're gonna have your beliefs anyway.
Yeah.
The only argument I really ever have with my sister right now is like calling an Indian person Asian, because that confuses some people sometimes, or people from the Middle East calling them Asian if you look on the map. But to be honest, other than that, it
encompasses a whole wide range of people,
Of course, but then some people generally think you're talking about the Far East.
Yeah.
Vietnamese,
In the States, they're like
Chinese,
that.
Japanese, you know what I mean? But when you bring it, the more west you come, it's like, just call them where they're specifically from. Call them Pakistani or call them Indian or call them Malaysian, you know. Don't just call them... Anyway, I know I've veered a little bit off topic here, but specifically when it comes to the racial thing, that's the thing I do have arguments with, because I don't really... Speaking about Rachel Dolezal, I don't really care what she calls herself. Like, I know she hurt the foundation of what she's doing. She hurt the message because she pretended to be black. She would fight for these causes, and people were like, you don't feel that oppression, so how can you fight for that? So maybe some of the things you fought for aren't really valid. But then she fought for a good cause, so I don't know. People want to transition to color, want to transition to gender. Is it worth arguing about anymore? Because if you take a stance on it and you're not open-minded to it, aren't you just seen as being stuck in your ways? I don't know. It's kind of weird.
You know, it's scary these days, though. You got to do some word gymnastics, you know, just to, you know, so you don't get in trouble with, you know, some people.
Man.
But
some people are scared of saying black. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah, because they do that whole whisper thing. Do I say coloured? Do I say black? What do I say? How do I describe you? So I don't know. My name. How about that? You know, but you know, I think in terms of what was the difficult part listening to that clip was equating transgender to transracial. And then say, well, wait a minute, she can express her, or he or she could express themselves in what gender they are. So why can't that person express themselves? You know, obviously it's a very short clip, but, you know, there wasn't really an appropriate response to that, you know. So obviously there's a lot of anger there. I mean, you know, and I understand, you know, sociologically about the whole gender being a social construct. For me, personally, I was just like, if someone wants to express themselves, they don't harm themselves or anyone else, then do your thing. What I have an issue with is if someone says that you have to believe that I'm this. So if someone says to me that if someone says I am a blue alien and I can fly, and then, you know, obviously groups of people are trying to, you know, obviously, you know, support that person, and they said you have to believe me and you have to accept them. I don't have to do anything.
That squashes discussion, which I guess you're saying you're for the discussion of it.
I'm for the discussion of it.
Yeah. Even if you don't even support it.
I don't even, I mean, I would say, look, you know, just do your thing. I respect, you know, your belief. Exactly. If you can do that, then do it. You know, you telling me that I have to believe what you believe, that's where I have an issue with, you know, kind of thought policing me.
Can you have favorite arguments though? Can you? Well, because it's like nowadays arguing, and I think the point you're trying to make as well is people want to be right. They don't want to discuss anymore.
Yeah,
they want to be right.
Yeah,
they don't want to discuss anymore.
No middle ground.
No middle. It's not even middle ground. They don't want to discuss.
Yeah,
they want to argue and be right, and want you to, you know, either be on their side, either you're on that side or on that side, but discussing it is problematic.
But, you know, it's a conversation that we always come back to, where the thought police has come back from social media and things like that. There's this faux outrage, and there's like, you know, kind of pitchfork and fire, and people are like saying, you know, well, you're not thinking this way. Then you've seen people's careers or lives being destroyed by that. I've got a huge, by the way, leeway, you know, a bit of a caveat with, you know, when it comes to transgender and whatnot. I mean, I think it's always been there for years gone by. So that's absolutely fine. I think it's a false equivalency between transracial and gender. I think transracial is just something that's just come up, flared up, and
for now,
yeah, you know. But I mean, yeah,
Michael Jackson was the first transracial.
Maybe that's the next thing.
Yeah, God,
that's what I was getting to as well. It's like today's argument is tomorrow's fact.
Yeah.
Do you get, what I mean by argument, it's one side of the argument. It's going to be fact.
Cultural norms.
There's no more discussion. When it's fact, when it's law, you don't discuss it anymore. Now that, and it makes you sound like I'm against transgender, gender reassignment, anything like that. But now that that's law and there's laws behind it, there's no discussing whether that's wrong or right anymore. Do you get what I'm saying? It's wrong because it's law. The law supports it. It's wrong. The end. If you try to discuss it, argue with someone, then you're problematic, you're evil, you're this, you're against it, you know, discussion stops.
I think with race, though, it'll be, I can't imagine, I mean, it's definitely possible that.
Oh, really? Race? Oh, wait a minute. Gender was inherent.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as I was saying the sentence because
exactly.
But I don't know. There's something about race. I think people are very
something about your dick attached to your body.
Oh my days.
There's no more defense. There's something about my skin. No.
That's not right.
Not anymore, son. Everything's up. I hate. I think there's a word for it as well, but I don't. Everything's just. Anything can change. Be open to everything. Nah, I'm an arsehole. Because to be honest, no. Actually, let me not try to hide behind being neutral. I'm not neutral. I believe certain things, but
you shouldn't have to apologize for it. That's the point.
That's the point.
Yeah. That's the point.
That's the point.
You shouldn't have to apologize,
and I should be able to talk about it.
Yeah,
and discuss it.
Like, you know that Jermaine Greer. She was like lead feminist. She wrote The Female Eunuch, and then when she went against the transgender. But she goes, I don't think anyone who's transgender, a man who turns into a woman, is really a woman. For me, he's still a man. And then the ferocity, the ferociousness, that's what I'm just like, okay, you guys have well in your rights to say that she's wrong, she's stupid, or she's kind of, archaic or whatever. But I mean, you can't stop her from believing what she's believing. I don't like this whole thought police.
Reminded me of one of the biggest situations actually with the gender reassignment situation is sports, man. I remember
I was just about to say,
the wrestling situation where this man transitioned to a woman
and I was knocking women for 6
and then
boxing.
She won, and then people were just like, this ain't right. This is physicality plays up. This just isn't right. And it's weird. This is where it gets super grey and super like, you're talking about science and then let's accept something, but then where does fairness? That's a perfect example of where something's just not, I don't want to say not right, because I have to pick my words carefully as well. It doesn't align perfectly.
I mean, there was that South African athlete, Caster Semenya, who is a woman, but I think, I don't know the scientific terminologies behind it, but obviously there's something in her DNA, in her genes, that makes her
hench.
That's a scientific word. He got it. It's in the dictionary. Look it up. Hench.
Took the words right out of the dictionary, Jenny. So but she's a woman though. She's born a woman, and she gets a lot of crap from like the media and people like, why are you competing with women? Like you're a man.
I don't know of her. She never had gender assignment surgery. No. She just has more male hormones.
She's just exactly. I think she's got more testosterone.
The whole chromosome thing. I don't know if it was a XXY, something like that. But yeah. But then it's still different from someone who was born a friggin' man. With actual male genitalia, just like slaying people in women's UFC, just like giving a breakdown.
That's out of order.
Okay,
but just
like Drago.
I'll let you wrap this up because we've got to move on.
Sorry, I interrupted you there.
Sure. So basically, I just wanted to come back to the Dolezal thing, Rachel Dolezal.
Yeah.
And the clip you played. So the thing that stuck out to me in the clip was, first of all, there was a bit at the end where the woman was like, first of all, there's no race apart from the human race.
Why can't we all just love why can't we all just be one race? The human race.
It's such a silly argument because yes, there is a human race, but ultimately a lot of people are born different colours. There's black people, there's white people, there's all kinds of Asian people, etc.
Sure.
Exactly. So I think it's a childish argument, and it just completely disregards a lot of history.
It was just dismissive.
Exactly.
She was just trying to close the chapter on that. That's all that was.
Exactly. But anyway, the other factor was the bit in the middle where a woman said, "You're angry at Rachel Dolezal because of what
she's picking up what you're putting down."
What you're putting down, yeah, which is doing stuff like
I think it was. I think it was
Farrakhan who was saying that.
How do you feel about it? That was funny.
It was a really good line, and that's why I kind of feel for this woman, this Dolezal woman. Okay, don't get me wrong. I don't think she should go around pretending to be black, but I think she generally has some kindred.
She did a lot of good.
Exactly, and she has a lot of kindred feelings towards black people,
just
which some black people don't do. Yeah,
and say, please watch a documentary.
I want to watch it
because I think it does a very good job. Because her backstory makes perfect sense. Why she came, you could call her unbalanced or psychotic or whatever you want to call her, but at least when you find out how she grew up, I'm like, I can totally see.
So you watched it, yeah?
Yeah.
It's good, yeah?
I liked it.
Recommend it?
The documentary?
Yeah.
I do, because the discussion is great.
Yeah.
Like we're having right now. The discussion is really, really good. And at the end of the day, she is not the only transracial person out there. I don't mind transracial. I really like what she did. And I'm gonna let you speak again, Stanley, because I interrupted you. But I think she did a lot of good. She was in the front lines for years. She was really fighting it. She was raised with black. You know, her family adopted. If you ain't gonna watch the documentary, just hear a little bit. Her family adopted black siblings, and they were super religious.
Right.
And that's how and it only let her to know her siblings better. She started reading about black culture, and she really got a kin with her siblings.
Right.
See?
So she grew up with that all her life. You know what I mean? And then, because her family seemed so abusive and religious, she transitioned to a black man, and she just loved the culture. And when she saw the persecution, she just became one of it. And to me, that's very natural.
Yeah.
For her lying and getting into a very big black organization to fight the fight, I'm just like, you know what? But to be honest with you, she did that more for herself. She did that. It wasn't to get in a company, to get into the organization. She became that on her own. Then she joined the company and then da-da-da-da-da. But I was thinking, you know what? If you was a white person working for NAACP, you probably would have been a lot more powerful. But would they have let you become the leader of it? Probably not. But I think she did something wrong, but I think her heart is in the right place.
Yeah, I think it was just a lie that was at the time not really hurting anyone, and then it just grew into something that kind of became out of control for her. But I mean, this whole transracial thing is just like
transracial, transgender, trans everything, trans robot, trans this, trans that. And the discussions we have behind closed doors because we can't openly have it. And don't get me wrong, online you can obviously there's Twitter wars, there's always beef about everything, but it's not civil.
It's not civil, but there should be. I think we should have room, or at least space. Or people express themselves, as I said earlier on, but people should have the same voice to call out bullshit. To say, yeah, no, that's bullshit. I mean, if you could say that without being hounded, then hey, I'm happy with that. But everyone's angry. Why are we so angry? I don't know. I don't get it.
Well, at this juncture, let me say, guys, if you have any secret discussions you have and you're too scared to have it, then why don't you send us a voicemail? We might actually use that as a talking point. Send us a voicemail. And I think I was a little bit scatterbrained with my answer, to be honest, you jumping here, there, and everywhere. But I don't have those. You
were jumping through those minefields, man. Like, oh shit.
I don't have those discussions as much because I can only have them with few people. And to be honest, I don't even want to. I don't even feel. I'm not one of those people that feels like if I just had a safe space to talk, I could just. No, I don't even care to anymore. You know why? Because I'm just one of those guys that just want to mind my own business. I keep my thoughts to myself. That's it. I don't need to. I don't need to get all this shit off my chest. If I do have those controversial thoughts, I know the 3 or 2 people I can have it with.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't feel like this world's so fucked up now. I can't say what I want anymore. Oh, what's going on? Before I could say what I want. Now I can't say what I want. Oh, this world. Oh, this SJWs. Oh. I don't feel like that.
But I think that's what you You actually do represent the majority in that way. I mean,
I hope so.
Yeah, I think, people can't reveal some controversial opinions.
But people think that's wrong, though.
But
people think that, because you feel that way, the world is fucked. Because you feel you can't express those deep, dark thoughts and have those discussions, I want to know what you're thinking. And I'm just like,
but there's a balance in life. There's always a balance, but it doesn't have, the pendulum doesn't have to swing completely one way or the other. There's, what the PC used to be about was just being respectful about the other person. But then there's the other thing where it can morph into a thought police. No, you're supposed to think this way. We're trying to find the ground right now. What's the common ground? I think that's what you're representing.
I'm not representing nothing. I'm representing me. I'm not standing on any pillar.
States of done.
I'm representing me. I'm a selfish git.
Please leave another message at voiceofmail.com.